Welcome to our 2025 top 5 bowling balls of the year. Be ready for us hitting every single category in our 6-ball categorization scale and talking about the top 5 bowling balls from every single spot. If you guys enjoy series like this, if you want to see all of our top 5 lists to be able to know what are the best bowling balls of the year, make sure to drop a subscription, make sure to drop a like on the video. Every YouTuber always says this is the best way to help support the channel, but it actually is. It actually helps a ton with the YouTube algorithm and all the fun mumbo jumbo going on behind the scenes. But without further ado, let's kick into our top 5 strong and smooth bowling balls of the year. In 2025, we've had 14 strong and smooth balls be produced and released to the public. We are having our date range from December 1st, 2024 to December 1st, 2025. So all bowling balls falling in that range are going to fit on this scale. But we had 14 total bowling balls get released. Most of those balls were from Brunswick Bowling. Motive had a handful. Storm had, ironically, really few. So this is going to be a very Brunswick heavy list to a certain degree, so be ready for that. Coming in at the number 5 slot is going to be the Radical Evil Eye. The Evil Eye is the only symmetrical bowling ball on this list, but it's not actually symmetrical. This list doesn't include anything with marketing, but this ball was marketed very weirdly because the second that you put a hole into it, it becomes very asymmetrical and ends up being pretty high on the strong and smooth list. But this bowling ball had arguably one of the most unique core designs in 2025, where it had a bunch of different ways that you could absolutely demolish the intermediate differential and make it as high as humanly possible, or you could make this ball very moderately asim or mildly asim. So this ball is just super unique in a lot of ways. And overall, this ball was hyped up to be absolutely incredible by the Brunswick marketing staff. And it is overall very good. It is a good bowling ball. Is it number 1 on the list? No, not even close. But it is a good ball. A lot of people have had some crazy success with it. This is going to be a ball that you're really going to like if there's a ton of oil and if there's a cliff on the lane. So I'm going to say the word cliff a lot in this video. That's when there's a ton of oil in the middle of the lane, very little oil on the outside of the lane. That's going to be a lot of your house shots. So if you're somebody who struggles with getting a ball to hook and getting a ball to be very smooth and slow off the spot, this is going to be your best friend. If you're someone who's very up the back of it, you might not like this ball as much, but overall, this ball has been a huge success for a lot of guys who like playing a little straighter on a house shot, if you're okay with a ball that hooks absolute miles. If you want to know more about the Evil Eye and all of its drilling, we do have a video on our channel showcasing like what happens when you drill the ball in certain ways, because it is absolutely crazy. Does it affect a lot of you out there? Not really. It affects a lot of pro shops out there, in my opinion. But really, does it affect the general consumer? That's still up for debate. Coming up next in the number 4 slot, we're going to Storm Bowling with the Equinox Solid. The Equinox Solid is the successor of the original Equinox, the house shot dominator bowling ball. This one is not as much of a house shot killer, but it is still a very good ball. This is a slot in the bag that a lot of people need, but they don't actually fill. That's a quote from Stu Williams, and it's highly accurate. So this ball has the same exact core as the original Equinox. That's about that 248 RG. It has that 054 differential and 018 intermediate differential. And then it has a stronger A2S solid cover stock on it. This is also going to be good on house shots. Not as good as the Equinox. Asymmetrical pearl balls are always going to be the greatest house shot bowling ball on the planet. But this ball is a good option, again, similar to the Evil Eye if you have a cliff out there and you need to combat it in some way. This Equinox Solid does like to play deeper on the lane more than something like the Evil Eye. So if you're somebody who likes to wheel the lane a little bit more, play a little bit deeper on the lane, this is always going to be a decent option. And if you're rev dominant, this is a really good top of the bag ball, because this is not a number 1 hooking ball on the planet. This is not an Ion Max. This is a step below that ball. So this is going to be something a lot more usable for you guys. One of the biggest problems with this strong smooth category, most bowlers never need a ball in this spot. House shots don't have that much oil on them in a lot of places in the country. A lot more bowlers are becoming rev dominant because of the no thumb movement. So then strong smooth balls just don't really have a spot in the bag. But if you want a more usable strong and smooth ball, this Equinox Solid can be a really good choice for you. Coming up in the bronze medal spot is going to be the Hammer Zero Mercy Solid. This ball is very new, And it's honestly surprising that I jumped it up so high on the list because it is so new. But this ball has been known about for about a month and a half to a lot of Brunswick staffers, and they all are adoring this bowling ball. A lot of the PBA guys are really liking it as well because this is, without a doubt, the biggest hooking bowling ball on the planet right now. This ball has the strongest cover stock of any company, of any bowling ball ever made. And the core isn't crazy strong, but it's strong enough to really help fit with that really strong cover stock. They did create a brand new HK22C squared cover stock, which picks up the lane earlier than most other things on the market. This ball is also super dull out of box. I believe it's 1500 grit. And the core isn't crazy strong. It's a higher RG core, but it's based on that old 3D offset core. So it's a little bit of a buffed up version of that guy. Overall, reviews are insane for this ball so far. And if you even pull out all of the garbage, like super excited buy 3 of these bowling ball ones, the ball is actually pretty good. Now, is it usable is the biggest question. Like I mentioned previously, this is not as usable as an Equinox Solid. I'd say about 90% of you watching this video will never need a ball as strong as a Zero Mercy Solid. It's too much ball for a lot of house shots. It's even too much ball for a lot of sport shots. I know for me in Minnesota in the upper Midwest, lane panels are getting older and older and older. This ball would hook earlier and earlier and earlier and leave so many corner pins if I tried using it in the wrong conditions. However, the reason it's so high, the PBA Tour season is coming up. Tournament season is coming up with state, with nationals, with all of these really crazy amateur events. This is going to be one of the most thrown bowling balls that you see. You're going to see this thing all over the place. So I think that's why it really deserves that spot as a number 3 best strong and smooth ball of the year. Coming into the silver medal spot, the second place finisher for the top strong and smooth balls is the Paragon Shadow from Track. This is a hybrid asymmetrical bowling ball, but it acts just like a solid with a little bit more kick down lane. This Paragon series is one of Track's best lineups of the last 5 or 10 years. It's one of their strongest asymmetrical cores, and they brought it back with the Paragon Shadow in a really cool package. This one has a really strong, I believe it's QR12 hybrid cover stock on it. So that's going to be one of their stronger cover stocks with that super strong Paragon core. It has one of the highest differentials in bowling, so it flares an absolute ton. This ball is really good, but got severely ignored because of Brunswick's constant push of bowling balls. It means a lot of things get left in the dust. This Paragon Shadow was unfortunately one of them. It might be on super sale right now while you're watching this video. But this ball overall is, again, usable. It's a usable asymmetrical bowling ball. Because it's hybrid, it wants to get a little further down lane, even with all of that core, even with all that core strength in it. This ball generally has been seen as a net positive for a lot of Brunswick staffers. This is most people's number 1, like, top hooking bowling ball in their bag, where you don't need something like that Zero Mercy Solid. You just have too much hand or not enough, or there's too much friction on the lanes. That's where the Paragon Shadow really comes into play. It's going to be a step below that and a step closer towards the angular side. So if you want a more angular bowling ball, this is going to be a good option. The Paragon Shadow is probably the most angular of our top 5 bowling balls that we've mentioned, and one of the more angular ones overall in our strong and smooth categories that we've talked about so far this year on the channel. So if you're looking for something like that, that's where the Paragon Shadow at its lower price point looks pretty decent. And the final winner, the number 1 bowling ball in the strong and smooth category, is going to the Motive Jackal Onyx. The Jackal Onyx came out in January of 2025, and this ball started off with a really hot bang, both for me and a lot of others. I actually threw a 300 with this pretty early into the season, but after seeing more and more people throw the Jackal Onyx, it really is the best strong, solid Jackal from Motive, excluding the Jackal Ghost, of course. But it is the best strong and smooth Jackal from Motive, arguably ever. They've usually had duds in this spot with things like the Jackal Ambush. They usually aren't great, but this Jackal Onyx just has a little bit more usability. Again, usability is word of the day, because while this Onyx is super strong, massive core, massive cover stock on it, meant for the most oil possible, this thing still retains energy really well, while having that Duramax technology on the cover, which means this ball doesn't lane shine as quickly as a lot of its competitors. It still wants to be able to be usable on a higher friction house shot or on higher friction lanes. I've used this thing on 35 mils of oil. I've used it on 25 mils of oil, and it still keeps up. It still goes through the pins really well. The only thing it doesn't like is playing dead straight on the lane. That's when there's a little bit of an issue. This ball wants to go offline a little bit quicker, where it kind of fits closer to a Paragon Shadow in a lot of senses, where it has a little bit of quickness down lane, which is honestly pretty okay. You can smooth that out with a lot of surface. When you have it at 500 grit, you will not have that problem at all. This, though, is probably the best, just typical what you expect from an asymmetrical solid ball on the market today. The biggest competitors right now are going to be that Ion Max from Storm, this ball, and then the Brunswick Mesmerize. The Zero Mercy is slowly climbing that list, but the Mesmerize has been the other good one for the last couple of years. This Onyx really is good at being able to keep its spot among the big three asim solids on the market. So the Jackal Onyx deserves its #1 spot. Motive, congratulations. You guys won one of our top 5 categories. We have 5 more to go, talking about 5 more categories of the 100+ bowling balls that have been released in 2025. So let me know what you think of this list. I'd really want to hear your opinions. What are your top 5 strong and smooth bowling balls of the year? I'll have a list of all of the bowling balls that qualify down below in the description. So make sure to look at that and let me know what you think the best one on the list is and what you think I missed, because I want to see what your guys' opinions are, what the greater bowling community's opinions are on the best bowling balls on the market today. But in just a couple days, we will have our strong and sharp video and then subsequently all of our other top 5 videos. So make sure to subscribe so you can see what the best balls of the year are. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Have a great holiday season. I will see you on the next one.